Physical contaminants include foreign objects that find their way into foods by mistake. Examples include metal shavings created by a worn can opener, pieces of glass from a broken container, hair, and dirt. Physical contaminants may be created by intentional tampering, but they are most likely the result of poor safety and sanitation practices or lack of training. Generally, microorganisms and other contaminants cannot move by themselves. Rather, they are carried to foods and food contact surfaces by humans, rodents, or insects. This transfer is referred to as cross-contamination. Cross-contamination is the process by which one item, such as your finger or cutting board, becomes contaminated and then contaminates another food or tool. For example, suppose a chef's knife and cutting board are used in butchering a potentially hazardous food such as chicken, and the chicken was directly contaminated with salmonella at the hatchery. If the knife and board are not cleaned and sanitized properly, anything that touches them can also be contaminated. So even though cooking the chicken to an appropriate internal temperature may destroy the salmonella in the chicken, the uncooked salad greens cut on the same cutting board or with the same knife can contain live bacteria. Cross-contamination can occur with bacteria or other microorganisms, chemicals, dirt, and debris. Side towels are an especially common source of cross-contamination. If a cook uses a side towel to wipe a spill off the floor, then uses the same side towel to dry his hands after visiting the restroom, he has recontaminated his hands with whatever bacteria or dirt was on the floor. Cross-contamination also occurs when raw foods come in contact with cooked foods. Never store cooked food below raw food in a refrigerator, and never return cooked food to the container that held the raw food. Cross-contamination can also occur easily from smoking, drinking, or eating unless hands are properly washed after these activities. Even with proper hand washing, food service workers should strive to minimize direct contact with prepared food by using single-use gloves, clean tongs, tasting spoons, especially tasting spoons, bakery tissue paper, and other appropriate tools whenever possible. Cross-contamination can be reduced or even prevented by personal cleanliness, dish and equipment cleanliness, and pest management. To produce clean sanitary food, all food handlers must maintain high standards of personal cleanliness and hygiene. This begins with good grooming. Humans provide the ideal environment for the growth of microorganisms. Everyone harbors bacteria in the nose and mouth. These bacteria are especially spread by sneezing or coughing, but by not disposing of tissues properly and by not washing hands frequently and properly. Touching your body and then touching food or utensils transfers bacteria. Human waste carries many dangerous microorganisms, so it is especially important to wash your hands thoroughly after visiting the restroom. An employee who is ill should not be allowed in the kitchen. Current research shows that the human immunodeficiency virus, HIV, the causative agent of AIDS, is not spread by food. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, the CDC, food service workers infected with HIV should not be restricted from work unless there is another infection or illness. You can do several things to decrease the risk of an illness being spread by poor personal hygiene. For example, wash your hands frequently and thoroughly. Gloves are not a substitute for proper hand washing. Keep your fingernails short, clean, and neat. Do not bite your nails or wear nail polish. Keep any cut or wound antiseptically bandaged. An injured hand should also be covered with a disposable glove. Bathe daily or more often if required. Keep your hair clean and restrained. Wear work clothes that are clean and neat. Avoid wearing jewelry or watches. Do not eat, drink, smoke, or chew gum in food preparation areas. One of the requirements for any food service facility is cleanability, but there is an important difference between clean and sanitary. Clean means that the item has no visible soil on it. Sanitary means that harmful substances are reduced to safe levels. Thus, something may be clean without being sanitary. The visible dirt can be removed, but disease-causing microorganisms can remain. The cleaning of dishes, pots, pans, and utensils in a food service operation involves both removing soil and sanitizing. Soil can be removed manually or by machine. Sanitizing may be accomplished with heat or chemical disinfectants. Procedures for manually washing, rinsing, and sanitizing dishes and equipment generally follow the 3-compartment sink setup. The dishwasher must do the following: scrape and spray the item to remove soil.
Wash the item in the first sink compartment using an approved detergent. A brush or cloth may be used to remove any remaining soil. Rinse the item in the second sink compartment using clear, hot water. Sanitizing the item in the third sink compartment by either 1. Immersing it in 171 degrees Fahrenheit water for at least 30 seconds, or 2. Immersing it in an approved chemical sanitizing solution used according to the manufacturer's directions. Empty, clean, and refill each sink compartment as necessary, and check the water temperature regularly. Food service items, dishes, silverware, and utensils should always be allowed to air dry, as towel drying might recontaminate them. Machine washing dishes or utensils follows a similar procedure. The dishwasher should first scrape and rinse items as needed, then load the items into the dishwasher rack so that the spray of water will reach all surfaces. The machine cleans the items with a detergent, then sanitizes them with either a hot water rinse of at least 180 degrees Fahrenheit or a chemical disinfectant. When the machine cycle is complete, items should be inspected for residual soil, allowed to air dry, and stored in a clean area. Work tables and stationary equipment must also be cleaned and sanitized properly. Equipment and surfaces including floors, walls, and work tables should be easily exposed for inspection and cleaning and should be constructed so that the soil can be removed efficiently and effectively with normal cleaning procedures. A thorough cleaning schedule should be implemented and closely monitored to prevent problems from developing. The following points are important to the safety and cleanliness of any food service facility. Equipment should be disassembled for cleaning. Any immersible pieces should be cleaned and sanitized like other items. All work tables or other food contact surfaces should be cleaned with a detergent, then sanitized with a clean cloth dipped in a sanitizing solution. Combining 1 gallon of lukewarm water with 1 tablespoon of chlorine bleach makes an acceptable sanitizing solution. This solution should be replaced every 2 hours. Other chemical sanitizers should be prepared and used according to health department and manufacturer's directions. Surfaces, especially work surfaces with which food may come in contact, should be smooth and free of cracks, crevices, or seams in which soil and microorganisms can hide. Floors should be non-absorbent and should not become slippery when wet. Walls and ceilings should be smooth and light-colored so the soil is easier to see. Light should be ample and well located throughout food preparation and storage areas. All light bulbs should be covered with a sleeve or globe to protect surroundings from shattered glass. A kitchen's design should also affect food safety and sanitation. Food preparation equipment should be arranged in such a way as to decrease the chances of cross-contamination. The workflow should eliminate crisscrossing and backtracking. Employees should be able to reach storage, refrigeration, and cleanup areas easily. Dish and pot washing areas and garbage facilities should be kept as far from food preparation and storage areas as possible. Cleaning supplies and other chemicals should be stored away from foods. Food can be contaminated by insects, for example roaches and flies, and rodents, for example mice and rats. These pests carry many harmful bacteria on their bodies, thus contaminating any surface with which they come in contact. An insect or rodent infestation is usually considered a serious health risk and should be dealt with immediately and thoroughly. Pests must be controlled by building them out of the facility, creating an environment in which they cannot find food, shelter, or water, and relying on professional extermination. The best defense against pests is to prevent infestations in the first place by building them out. Any crack, no matter how small, in door frames, walls, or windowsills, should be repaired immediately, and all drains, pipes, and vents should be well sealed. Flies are a perfect method of transportation for bacteria because they feed and breed on human waste and garbage. Use screens or fly fans, also known as air curtains, to keep them out in the first place. Controlling garbage is also essential because moist, warm, decaying organic material attracts flies and provides favorable conditions for eggs to hatch and larvae to grow. Pest management also requires creating an inhospitable environment for pests. Store all food and supplies at least 6 inches off the floor and 6 inches away from walls. Rotate stock often to disrupt nesting places and breeding habits. Provide good ventilation storerooms to remove humidity, airborne contaminants, grease, and fumes. Do not allow water to stand in drains, sinks, or buckets, as cockroaches are attracted to moisture. Clean up spills and crumbs immediately and completely to reduce their food supply. Despite your best efforts to build pests out and maintain proper housekeeping standards, it is still important to watch for the presence of pests. For example, cockroaches leave a strong, oily odor and feces that look like large grains of pepper. Cockroaches prefer to search for food and water in the dark, so seeing any cockroach on the move in the daylight is an indication of a large infestation. Rodents, mice and rats, tend to hide during the day, so an infestation may be rather serious before any creature is actually seen. Rodent droppings, which are shiny black to brownish gray, may be evident, however. Rodent nests made from scraps of paper, hair, and other soft material may be spotted. Should an infestation occur, consult a licensed pest control operator immediately. With an early detection and proper treatment, infestations can be eliminated. Be very careful in the attempt to use pesticides or insecticides yourself. These chemicals are toxic to humans as well as to pests. Great care must be used to prevent contaminating food or exposing workers or customers to the chemicals.